Good morning, dear students. I hope you all are fine. Today we will start your 10th chapter, and it's a poem. And the name of the poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And this poem is written by Robert Frost, who was an American poet, and he was a very famous poet. He used to write a lot of poems based on nature, and his poems are very simple. Language of the poem is very simple. So let us see. First of all, let us have a look at the word meanings. So first is queer. Queer means to say strange, which is unusual, strange, something different. That is called queer. Queer, sorry. Then harness. Harness means to say a set of leather strips put around a horse's head and body so that it can be controlled or fastened to a carriage. You might have seen horses have a kind of seat and bellets around their neck. So that kind of complete system is called harness. Then downy, like down, fine soft hair. So then flake, a small thin layer of something, that is called flake. So let us read this poem now one by one. First stanza is: whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. So, see, as you can see from the picture, also, the poet is standing in the woods. Woods means to say in a forest or a jungle. So along with his horse, he is standing near a lake, or you can say near mountains in a forest area. So whose woods these are, I think I know. So poet is saying that whose woods are these, to whom this jungle belong, I think I know that person. His house is in a village, though, but that person lives in a village, and he will not see me stopping here. So that person cannot see me, that I am standing in his woods or I am here. So because that person is living in the village, to watch his woods fill up with snow, and I am here to watch his woods, the beauty of his wood, the beauty of this forest, which is fill up with snow. It's a, you can say, the mountains are covered with snow and everything is covered with snow, and the poet is having a look of this pleasant weather or pleasant surrounding. In the second stanza, my little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. So now poet is thinking about his horse, and he is saying that my horse must be thinking like it's queer, it's strange that my owner is standing here where there is no farmhouse, where there is no place to stay. Why he is standing here? And between the frozen woods and the frozen lake means here the lake is frozen. This place is completely cold, and he is standing between the woods means he is standing inside the jungle where there is no place to stay, there is no farmhouse, but even then he is standing here. And this is the darkest evening of the year. This evening is also a dark kind of the evening, and it is very cold. So then in the third stanza, he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. So now again, because that horse was having thoughts in his mind that why his owner is standing here. So poet is actually that horse is, you can say, moving his harness, and because of that, the bells that are hung in his, you can say, neck, that are being shaken by him, and that are producing sounds. So the poet actually is talking about the situation that his horse is having. So he is saying that my horse is shaking his harness and bells are ringing, and horse is trying to ask from his owner that whether he has stopped here by mistake or he actually want to stop here. So the only other sounds sweep the easy winds and the downy flake. So other sound than that ring was the sound of slow winds, the cold winds that are there in that place. So one is the sound of the ring of the, you can say, bell of the, you can say, horse, and another sound was there of the air or wind. The woods are lonely, dark, and deep, but I have promised to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So, again, the poet is saying, poet is saying that these woods are lonely and dark and deep, means he is describing about the scene, the beautiful scene that is in front of his eyes. So he want to stay there, but what he is saying, but I have promises to keep. So he is, you can say, in his mind he is thinking about his responsibilities or his promises that he has to fulfill, and means he is talking about the kind of works that we all have to do in life, things that we have to complete, the responsibilities that we have to carry. So he is saying that, and miles to go before I sleep, means I cannot stay here, I cannot watch this beautiful scene continuously without, you can say, going anywhere else. Why? Because I have miles to go before I sleep. Here sleep means to say before I die. So poet is saying that I have to fulfill a lot of responsibilities, a lot of promises I have to complete before I die. So I cannot watch the scene standing here for longer time. So this is the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. I hope you also find this poem a simple one, as it's a specialty of Robert Frost that he always writes simple kind of poems. And let us move to the next page now. So next, what you have to do next here in A1 exercise. So complete the following summary of the poem. So summary of the poem is given and some blanks are there, so you have to fill these blanks to complete the summary of the poem. One winter evening while crossing dash, so while crossing the woods, or you can say while crossing the snowy dark woods, so then the poet stops to watch the beauty of the landscape. The dash is not present there, the owner of the woods is not present there. So in this way you have to complete all these fill-ups. Then second, A2, here you have to choose the correct option out of the given options. First is the phrase promises to keep, means what does it mean? Means he want to fulfill his commitments. So A option is right, many commitments to fulfill. Then second question is, in the last stanza the word sleep metamorphically means, so word sleep means to say to die. So second, answer of second would be to die. Then third question, which is true out of these three statements? So first is the poet does not know the owner of the wood. No, he knows. And second is the poet is not sure if he knows the owner of the wood. Actually he was sure because he was saying that that owner lives in the village. So yes, third option is right, the poet is quite sure who is the owner of the woods is. So yes, third option is right. Then in appreciation, what you have to do here, so in this section Robert Frost has used the following phrases to create a sensory effect. Each of them makes a visual and auditory impact on the reader. So put them in the correct part of the table. See, here some words are given, phrases are given here, and on the next page two columns are given. First is visual impact and second is auditory effect. So you have to put these in the different columns. So in visual, if you look at these options, so frozen lake is a visual effect, fill up with snow is also your visual, darkest evening, lonely, dark, deep, all these words are here. Sorry, lovely and dark and deep, these words are here visual effect. And if we look at auditory, so easy wind and harness bell, so these words harness bell are shake, easy wind and downy flake, so these are here visually, sorry, auditory impact. Then next question is, give two examples of alliteration from the poem. So two examples of alliteration. First one is, the woods are lovely, dark and deep. So here dark and deep, you can say alliteration is a sound, consonant sound where there is a repetition of consonant sound, that is called alliteration. We have done in lot many poems earlier also. So alliteration here is, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, D and D. Okay, then here is a sound of D sound. Then second alliteration was sounds the sweep, So S sound is being repeated. So this is another alliteration. Then second question is explain the meaning of the line miles and miles to go before I sleep. So this line is very important. The last two lines of the poem are very important. So this question is being, you can say this question is very important from exam point of view also. So what is the meaning of the line and miles to go before I sleep? The repetition of last line emphasizes the poet's deep sense of responsibility towards his commitments. Means he want to fulfill all his responsibilities that are you can say that he has to do before he die. So he is talking about here, the word sleep means to say before he die. So he want to fulfill all his promises and commitments before he die. So this is here, this is the meaning of your last line. Then in C, so write the rhyme scheme of first and last stanza. So they have done this for you. Then write the rhyme scheme for the first three stanzas. So if you look at the stanza C, I have already told you that for checking rhyme scheme you have to check the last words of the stanza. For example, here the word no, though, here, snow. So if you look at the words no, though, snow, these are having same rhyme, so you can give the letter A to these, and here is having a different rhyme, so you can give the letter B to here. So no, though, here, snow, no ka A, do ka A, here ka B, snow ka A, then it will be A B A. So similarly, same rhyme scheme is there for B stanza, for you can say for C also, and for D का कुछ नहीं है. For three stanzas there is the same you can say rhyme scheme, that is A B A. Okay, then next is what you have to do next C2 section. What you have to do here, read the following words and look for blends and digraphs, then write the words in the correct box. So C students, here a box is given and some words are given in the box. You have to put these words in a box, blend words separately and digraphs. So first of all, what are blends and digraphs? See, look at the bottom of this page 65. So some words are given. Firstly, when two or three consonants come together in a word, they form a blend. Means when there is a sound of you can say two and three consonants and separate words are there, like practice, screen, craft, streak. So in these words देर इज़ अ साउंड, डिफरेंट साउंड. इफ़ वी लुक एट प्रैक्टिस, सो PR जो है ये अगर हम हिंदी में लिखें तो प और र की साउंड है. सो दो डिफरेंट लेटर्स हम इनको यूज़ करेंगे. अगर हमने हिंदी में प्रैक्टिस वर्ड लिखना है तो प भी लिखेंगे, र भी लिखेंगे. ओके, सो डिफरेंट वर्ड्स आगे. अगर हिंदी में कोई चीज़ आपने लिखनी है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने प्रैक्टिस ही लिखना है, तो आप लिखोगे पर. तो पर दो वर्ड्स आ गए. लेकिन अगर हम इंग्लिश में इसकी साउंड देखें तो पर की हमारे पास एक मतलब एक बन के आ रही है, लेकिन लेटर्स अगर दो डिफरेंट हैं, इट मीन्स इट्स अ ब्लेंड. ओके, अगर आपके पास हिंदी में किसी वर्ड को लिखने के लिए दो वर्ड्स यूज़ करने पड़ रहे हैं आपको, तो वो क्या है, आपका ब्लेंड है. ऑन द अदर हैंड, अगर नीचे आप देखिए देयर इज़ अ वर्ड गिवन शिप. सो अगर आपने शिप हिंदी में लिखना है तो आप ओनली शो वर्ड से लिख लोगे. शो वर्ड इज देयर इन हिंदी, सो यू कैन राइट विद द हेल्प ऑफ दैट शो वर्ड. So the word which can be written with the single letter from any Hindi, you can say जो भी हिंदी के अक्षर होते हैं, that is called your digraph. And if you have to use two or three alphabets from Hindi, then you can say that word is called your blend. So practice, scream लिखना है, so स आधा स, क के पैर में र, को ई की मात्रा म. सो स्क्रीन, क भी आ गया, र भी आ गया, स भी आ गया. सो इतने वर्ड से हमें स, क्र, जो आपका SC और लिखा हुआ है, इतनों को लिखने के लिए हमें हिंदी के 2-3 लेटर्स यूज़ करने पड़ रहे हैं. ऑन द अदर हैंड, अगर हमने चेंज लिखना है तो हिंदी का च वर्ड से ही हम लिख लेंगे. सो CH इंग्लिश में दो है, लेकिन हिंदी में उसका च का जो ऑल्टरनेटिव है, हमारे पास सिर्फ एक ही लेटर है, दैट इज़ च. So for all these words, to check whether it's blend or digraph, you can write that particular word in Hindi. And if it is having only one letter, like in change we need only ch of Hindi, so it's your digraph. And on the other hand, if you want to write scream, so you have to write आधा स क के पैर में र, so इतना लिखना पड़ेगा आपको SCR के लिए. So for that you need 2-3 letters of Hindi. So that is called your blend. So I hope it is clear to all of you. On the basis of that, you have to choose some words from this box, and you have to put these words in blend section and in digraphs. So you can categorize these words on the basis of this knowledge. Then next is C3, fill in the blanks with the correct sound words from the box. So see students, these are the things that you need to learn. So what is given here, some words are given, these are called sound words, means किसी की कैसी sound होती है, leaves की sound को क्या बोलते हैं, wings की sound को क्या बोलते हैं, अगर paper है उनकी sound को क्या बोलते हैं. So you have to choose these words. Like I am doing it for you. First is the dash of leaves, rustle word is there in the box, so rustle sound is for leaves. Then the dash of the wings, so whir, WHIR, that is called your sound of wings. Then sound of paper is called, paper sound is called crinkle, first option. Then sound of coins is called clink. Then the sound of whip is called crack. Then the sound of sea is called swash. Then the sound of hoofs is called seventh and clatter. Then the sound of fire is called crackle. So with this your poem is complete, and I hope you understood it very well. So thanks for listening and have a nice day.